Okay, we are gonna see if this works to use the whiteboard, because that way Taylor can be with me and see what we're doing. Okay, so problem 5, we have a negative 3f. Can I write this one? The problem is the whiteboard might not have enough space. Okay, plus 3 distributive property here in the parentheses with a negative 3f plus 5 equals negative 81. Okay, we talked about in class how sometimes you want to do the distributive property and other times you don't. So this one, since we're going to have an F in the parentheses and an F on the outside, we do need to do it because then we're going to have to combine the Fs. So our first step is to do the distributive property. That will get rid of the parentheses. And then we'll have 2 terms with an F on it and then a normal term. And then we'll have to combine the terms with an F on it. So you guys go ahead and do that first step on your own. Then we'll double check. So do the distributive property. Wait, that looks different. Oh, okay, you're right there. Oh, what you want? Take away something. What does that say? What's it plus?
Wait, so does that mean that we're adding the 3F with the 3F or the like 3 times 3F?
Sorry, I'm wrong. Yeah, so we do the 3 times 3f, but that's negative, so negative 9f, and then the 3 times 5. So then we had negative 3f over here, that's gonna have to get combined. So we have a negative 3f plus a negative 9f, and those combine to make what?
Negative 12F?
Yeah, so we have negative 12f plus 15 equals negative 81. So what's the next step? Taylor, you can say it out loud too.
Do we add 15 to both sides now?
Take away 15.
Take away 15.
Okay, when we get to this point, we have we have both sides are negative, right? When both sides are negative, then that might get confusing if there's more than one term. But right here, we only have one term per side and they're both negative. So we can make them both positive, and the rule for that is that we're multiplying by -1, right? So if we multiply the left side by -1, it would be a positive 12f. If we multiply negative 96 by -1, it would be a positive 96, all right? So we can change both of those into positive. Another way to look at that is you could switch, like with the negative 12x, f, if I added that to both sides, it'll basically switch it to the right side. And then if I added 96 to both sides, it would switch it to the left side. So there's 2 different ways of looking at that, why you're allowed to just like cancel out negatives on both sides. So we're left with 12f equals 96. So what does f equal? So 96 divided by 12. Do we know our 12 times tables? I have to think about that one for a minute.
8.
Yeah, f is 8. So we got all the way down there. Ooh. I guess you're done. All right. Where's the next one? Leave but stay close, or just go ahead and finish. Check your answer in the back of the book. Taylor's going ahead. Am I going too slow for you, Violet?
No, this is good for now.
Okay, wait, so where does that put us? Number 6. Okay, negative 5s plus 3 in parentheses 5s plus 2 equals 126. Okay, how about you try it, Violet? Talk through it out loud and I'll just check you.
Okay. So, 3 times 5,
Yep.
so 15s, and then 3 times 5 times 2.
Nope, we're taking this 3. We go 3 times 5 and then 3 times 2.
Okay. So then 6. So 15s plus 6, and then you bring down the negative 5s. So then you do negative 5s plus 15 plus 6
Good.
equals 126.
Yep. And what's next? What's the next step, Violet?
You wait. I forgot.
We need to combine the S's and then we need to move 6 to the other side. It doesn't matter what order we do those in because they don't affect each other.
Then 20s.
No, because we have a negative 5.
Oh, that's right. So 10s.
Mm-hmm. And then take away 6 from both sides.
Then 120.
Good.
So then 10s equals 120. So then 10 times 12.
Right. Yeah, you got it. So S is 12. Okay, and then 103 equals negative 2u plus 3, negative 3u plus 5. It's messy.
So
Okay,
then
go ahead.
3 times 3u.
Don't forget the negative.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that. So then 3 times negative 3u.
Yeah,
So then 3 times 5 is 15.
good.
And then bring down the negative 2u. So the negative u2 plus negative 9u plus 15.
Okay,
Do
what's
we,
negative 2 and negative 9?
so we take away 15?
You want to take away 15 from both sides?
Yeah.
Okay,
So then 88.
and then combine the u's.
So then 11u,
Negative 11.
negative 11u
Uh-huh.
equals 88. So then it'd be 8. No, because it's a negative, right?
Good. I just like having you guys talk through it and listening to how your brain is working. Okay, so what's the answer?
Is it negative 8?
Yeah, because negative 11 times negative 8 will be a positive 88.
88, yeah.
Good. All right, and then we have negative 11 here. Equals 5y plus 4, parentheses, negative y, take away 4. Okay, what are our steps now?
Is this, wait, so this is different because we don't know what the y is, right?
No, it's the same thing. Well, okay, it doesn't say a number in front of the y, but it's there.
Will it just be 4y then?
Right, because what this isn't showing is that there's a 1 there. Negative y means negative 1y. So 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. So now there we have a negative 4y. Then we have a 4 times negative 4, negative 16, or if you want to say plus negative, yeah, it's either a takeaway 16 or a plus negative. Either way that you like thinking about it is probably better to do a plus negative because that will help you remember that it's a negative 16 to treat it like a negative number, not just a takeaway.
And then bring down the 5y. So then plus 16 on both sides or plus negative 16 on both sides?
Well, since it's already negative, we need to do the opposite. So we're gonna add a positive 16 to both sides.
Okay.
Or if you're thinking it was a takeaway 16, the opposite would be adding 16. Right? So negative 11 plus 16.
The x is negative. Is positive 5.
Yep. And then we have to combine the y's.
So 9y equals 5.
Nope, you have a negative 5 and a negative 4.
Oh, yeah. So negative 9.
Nope, 5 take away 4.
Oh, 1y.
Right. Well, there's your answer.
5.
Yep. Okay, so does that give you that entire column?
Yes.
Okay, and then do you have any on the next column? Did we do the first 4?
I did the first 2.
All right. So negative 5t, take away 2, 5t plus 10 equals 100. Okay, this one we have, for the distributive property, we've got a negative there. Do we remember what we're gonna do with that? It's a takeaway 2 before the parentheses. So remember that's gonna be a negative 2 times 5 and then a negative 2 times 10.
Yeah.
You need to look at that as a negative,
So negative 10t
right?
plus negative 20.
Yeah,
So then would we add 20 to both sides?
sure.
And then negative 15t.
Yeah. So negative 15t equals 120. Does 15 go into 120?
8. So
Yeah,
times negative 8.
negative 8. Good. So t is negative 8. You got that one wrong? Apparently you got this one wrong too. This one that we just did, you got that wrong. So you should pay attention. Oh, hold on. Let Taylor check our work real fast.
See what
You see? Okay.
I do. So,
All right, negative 3p plus 2, parentheses, 5p take away 12. It goes negative 73.
So 2 times 5p is 10p,
Yep.
and then 2 times 12, or would it be negative 12?
Yep. -12.
So then 2 times negative 12 is negative 24.
Good.
Then bring the 3p. Then plus 24.
Okay.
49.
-49.
Negative 49, sorry. And the negative 3 plus 10 is negative 7.
+7.
Positive 7.
You see why?
Yeah, because the 10's bigger.
Yeah.
So then 7p equals negative 49.
Yep.
So 7 times negative 7 equals negative 49.
1 minute. Confused people trying to come in again. Okay, -7, right?
Yeah.
Good. All right. Violet, do you want to keep going on this page or do you want to do some on the graphing?
Yeah, let's move on.
All right, because it looks like you're pretty good on this. Just be careful about the negatives because it's easy to make a mistake there.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you not sure what to do on page 47?
Yeah, I just don't like graphs.
Okay, hold on. What? Yeah, so -2 times -10. Okay, so I'm gonna do the graphing with Violet. I'm trying to think if no, I know I don't need to show anything on my screen for you because you have your book. So everyone else who's watching this recording will just have to make sure they have the book in front of them. I won't show the graph on the screen, but I can show the equation on the screen. So this is nice because it's in the past, we already did some graphing just by looking at the slope intercept form and knowing whatever's in front of the x is the slope, and then the other number standing by itself is going to be the y-intercept. But now there's another way to do the graph where we just plug numbers in and then we plot those points on the coordinate plane. So let's talk about that method. Y equals x take away 3. You can decide which method you like better, but I'm thinking this one is going to be more time consuming. Okay, so now we just pick a random number and we're basically just, I mean, not like experimenting, but we're just putting random numbers online. So if x is 1, then what's y?
Wait. I don't know.
Okay, so let's
Zero?
are you looking at the equation? If x is 1, then it'll say y equals 1 take away 3.
Oh,
We did all those exercises where they were just giving us a value to put in for the variable. So 1 take away 3 is -2. So on this, we're going to graph a line. And remember, the line has infinite number of answers. So
Yeah.
when x is 1, then y will be -2. This is going to help us graph it. What about when x is 2? What will y be?
-1.
Good. What about when x is 3?
0.
Right. Let's just do one more. So we actually only need 2 in order to make a graph. If x is 4,
1.
y. Okay, so now how do you graph these points?
So
If
you
x is
put-
1, y will go down -2, right? Like around there.
yeah.
Is this going to work with my finger? If x is 2, y will be -1. So we have a positive slope, which checks out. because we're gonna double check this using the slope intercept form. Okay, so your graph is gonna look like this. It has a slope of 1, but it started at -3. Is that right? Yeah, start at -3. So let's check it against the equation in slope intercept form. Whatever is in front of the x is the slope, and nothing is in front of the x right here. So it's just gonna be a 1, right? That's a slope of 1. And then the -3 right there is the intercept. So see how it crosses the y-axis at -3, and then it goes up 1, 1, 1.
Yeah.
All right, that's messy, but we get the idea. Okay, let's do 1b. Go ahead and do it on your own, and you can just think out loud, and I'll follow you.
So 2x plus 1.
Right.
Is it just 3? Or
No, we're not gonna add those together. We're just trying to
oh
graph.
yeah.
the line.
So do we just come up with a number for the x then?
Yep, you can just put in any number.
Okay. So
Any
if we,
number that's on the graph. So probably not 8 or 9 because that's too big for the graph, right?
if we just did like 1.
Okay, so if x is 1, what will y be?
3.
Yep. If okay, then choose another one.
2.
If
5.
x is 2, y will be 5. Good.
And then if it's 7, it'll be 3. I mean, if it's 3, it will be 7.
Good.
And then it would be
That's gonna
9.
be, that's gonna go off the chart on the
Yeah.
graph. So let's put in a 0 or a negative number for x. But you're right, if it's 4, then it's 9. And you can see the pattern. Every time x takes a step, y goes up 2.
Yeah.
So the slope is 2. And is that what the equation says? Y equals 2x plus 1. Yes, the slope is 2. But that slope 2, it has to start. It doesn't start at the 0, 0. It starts at the plus 1. And then we can move over 1 and up 2. So now do you know how to graph that?
So it's just the same thing for 2a. You just put a number for the x.
Yeah, but you already did that, right? Didn't you fill out your table on 1b?
Yeah, for 2a.
Okay, did you graph 1b?
Yeah.
Okay, show me your graph.
But just be sorry, it's kind of hard to see like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And remember to put arrows on both sides because it's you know, there's infinite number of solutions. So you could keep plugging in numbers and it would go on and on and on both ways. Right? Hey, Island. Yeah. Are you there, Island? We did page 46 already, so you can watch the recording to go over that one. And now we're on page 47. Okay, so on 2A on page 47, are you there, Island? And this might be hard to read in regular slope intercept form because it's x divided by 2. So if we were going to graph it using that, we have to write it in a different way. So I want to make sure you guys understand this. X divided by 2, you can just rewrite that as 1/2 x. The variable being next to the fraction is the same thing as the variable being in the numerator of the fraction. So it would be like saying 1x over 2. So these all mean the same thing. When we're doing algebra, we want it to look like this, a fraction and then a variable. But we can use their form x over 2. That will still work to plug in. That will probably be easier to plug in a value for x. So what we're doing now is we're plugging in a value for x. So let's plug in an even number because we're going to have to divide it by 2, right? So if x equals 2, what will y be?
0.
If x equals 2, that would give us 2 over 2, take away 2.
Oh, so -2.
No. 1, take away 2.
So -1.
Right. So that point is going to be 2 for x and then -1 for y. I went ahead and put a dot there on the graph. 2, -1. Okay, what about if x is 4?
Would it be 0 then?
Yes. Island, are you following this? If x is 4, it'll be 4 over 2, take away 2. And that equals 2, take away 2. Island, are you good on this? Or are you not listening? Maybe she logged on and walked away. Okay, so I'm going to graph 4, 0. And I can already draw a line just based off of those 2 points. Now I see the pattern. I already know that my slope is a half. Every time I step over 1, I'm only going up a half. So I need to step over 2 to go up 1 full point. Does that make sense? Do you see how you could draw the line there? So you can plug in another one just to make sure. And then you can double check it up against the slope intercept form. Let's look at the slope intercept form. Do you remember how to do this? Well, we would have to rewrite that as half times x, take away 2. So on the slope intercept form, the number in front of x is the slope. So the slope is a half. And then this other number by itself, -2, is the y-intercept. So, and I'm going to look at my graph. The numbers that I plotted, sorry, the points that I plotted already. Do I have a -2 as an intercept? Yes. And then does it make sense that my slope is a half? I'm going rise 1, run 2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. Yes. Do you have that drawn on your page, Violet and Island?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, you're good on that one? All right,
Yeah.
2B. Go ahead and do 2B, Violet, and you talk us through it.
Okay. So if x was 6, or let's just say it was 3. Take away 2, it'd be 1. 1 divided by 3, is that what it would be then?
Hey, wait, sorry, I didn't follow you. What did you plug in for X?
3.
So 3 take away 2 is 1, and then you'll be left with 1/3.
Oh.
Does that make
Um,
sense?
should I do a bigger number then?
Well, let's go ahead and keep the 1/3. You can graph that. But this one is kind of confusing where it would be easier to choose a number that's going to give us a whole number. So then you have to like think backwards. And so 3 times. No, okay, wait. I had this one I did with Taylor last week. 3 times 2 plus something. No, okay. It has to be a multiple of 3. plus something. So let's see. Yeah, a multiple of 3 plus 2. That's what x has to be. So try that out. A multiple of 3 plus 2.
So like 6 plus 2.
Right? So that would be 8. So if x is 8, what does that give us?
8 take away 2 is 6. And then 6 divided by 3 is 2.
Good. So 8, 2 will be a point, and the one that we previously had was 3 and then a third. Okay, what's another one? That's a multiple of 3 plus 2.
Um,
And then we'll talk over the slope again when we're done with this one. Are you thinking of one, Violet?
so like
A multiple of 3 plus 2.
9.
So 9 is a multiple of 3, and then plus 2 is 11. So let's say x is 11. And then we have 9 thirds equals 3. So our point is 11, 3. And let's do one more. What if we just go with multiple of 3 being 3 plus 2 is 5? What will that give us? So if x is 5,
It'll just be
Right.
1.
okay, good. So now we see the y is going 1, 2, 3. We have steps for y being 1, 2, 3. If y is 1, then x is over at 5. Now this is going to be hard to graph because the numbers are so big. If y is 2, x is going to go all the way over to 8, which is 2 points off the line. So we should just start with 0. If x is 0, negative 2 thirds. Do you see that? So the intercept is negative 2 thirds. If x is 1, negative 1 third. Oh, I got you. Yep. If x is 2, y will be 0. All right. Now I'm graphing all of this. So you can see that we have a slope of a third. Every time we go up 1, we're going over 3. So we can continue that line indefinitely just by continuing that pattern. We go up 1 over 3, or we go down 1 over 3 to the left. So the graph looks like this when you're ready. Now that one was more complicated. It's okay if we only kind of understood that one, but we get the rest. So earlier in the chapter, we learned slope-intercept form, where you can just graph it looking at the equation. And then on this method, we're graphing it by plugging in numbers into a table. Which way do you prefer, Violet? Which way do you think is easier?
Sorry, what was the other way that we did?
Flip back to page 38. Do we need to review that? Do you see what we were doing on page 38?
Yeah.
Where you just looked at the number in front of the x, that's your slope. And then the number by itself is a regular one. Do you want to review on that, Violet? Because I think Isla needs to do that.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, I'm gonna take a picture of this. 1 minute. So, Island, you don't understand what the slope means.
No.
Okay, the slope is talking about the angle of the graph. Like if the graph is going up or down, and then if it's going steep or gradual. Island, did you have 38 done?
A little.
Okay, let's go back there. Right. Here we go. My mouse is just being difficult. Ah, why is my mouse being weird? I have to touch my screen. Thank goodness for touch screens. Okay. So slope intercept form, whenever you have an equation in this form, then this trick will work. Hey, Island, are you watching? Let's go even bigger.
Page.
Okay, just watch the screen, okay? So in slope intercept form, here's what we need. Y is all by itself on one side of the equation, right? We have Y by itself. And then we have a number in front of X. And then we have a number by itself without any letters, no variables. So those are the 3 points that have to be there. Well, it will also work. Okay, never mind. The Y has to be by itself is the important part. Because sometimes one of those will be 0 and it won't be showing. So each of these is giving us information. So Island, do you remember or do you know what the intercept means?
No.
The intercept is where it's going to cross the y-axis. So this up and down axis right here. Whoops. -4 is where the graph is going to cross that. So -4 is down here. I'm going to put a point right there at the -4. And then we have to find my line. Now my line could be going anywhere. It could be going like this or like this or like this. It just has to cross that point, right? So all of these lines I'm drawing now that looks like a spider web, these are going to have a different slope. So those lines are the possible lines using a -4 intercept. And my job now is to figure out which one of those is the correct one. So what kind of slope? The first step is figuring out the intercept. The second step is figuring out the slope. The slope is the number that's in front of the x in the equation. So what's the slope, Island? What's the slope, Island? Did you walk away from your computer?
Um,
Violet, if you are already strong on this, then you're done. I'll just go over this with Island.
Okay. Just like leave?
Yeah, unless you feel like you want to hear this again.
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, good job. You should be able to
Thanks
just
for
finish
the
your
help.
homework then.
Thanks.
Bye.
is
Bye.
is the slope the one where you like the so the -4 is the one where you graphed it? Isn't the slope like the little line that you put?
The slope is the line, but it's telling me what kind of line. So watch, I could have a really, whoops, wrong. I could have a really gradual line like this, or I could have a really sharp line like this. The slope is going to tell me what kind of line. All I know is I'm going to make a line and it's going to cross at the -4 at that point that I just drew. But the slope is going to tell me, is it a uphill line or a downhill line? Is it a sharp? Here's a sharp downhill, or is it an easy downhill? There's so many different options of slopes, right? So I need to look at the slope number and it'll give me that information. It'll help me know how to draw the line. So what's the number of the slope?
2x.
2 is just the number in front of the x. So what the slope means is every time I go up to up and then across. So 2, if this were a fraction, it'd be 2, 1. So every time I go up 2, I'm going to go across 1, right? So I'm going to go up 2 over 1, and then I have another point right there. Up 2 over 1, then I have another point right there. Does this make sense? Up 2 over 1. Does that make sense, Island?
A little. Yeah.
But then it's not going to look like a staircase when I draw my line, right? That was only for me to find my dots. Once I find my dots, I connect my dots using a line. All right, so it's going to look like that. Now, you're probably wondering, what does this line even mean? Why are we drawing a picture, right? Are you lost on what this graph means?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's cover that. The graph is showing us all the possible solutions to the problem. Remember, the whole point of algebra is to find the solutions. So when I have y equals 2x plus 4, what would the solution be? What does y equal? Well, y could equal a lot of things. It just depends what x equals, right? So let's do what we were just doing with Violet. Let's make a table. The point of this table is to say, if x is a number, then what number will y be? Okay. If x is 2, what number will y be, Island? So plug in the 2 for x. You get 2 times 2, take away 4.
Let me come on, annotate.
0. Good. If x is 3, what is y?
Two.
Good. And if x is 0, what's y? Nope, try that one again. So 2 times 0, take away 4. So what's 2 times 0?
0.
What's 0 take away 4?
0. I
No.
mean, no, -4.
Yeah, so change your answer to -4. Good. Okay, this is your intercept right there. 0, -4. If y is 0, if x is 0, y will be -4. Do you see this on my graph? It's right here. You see my big blue dot? That shows me x is 0, y is -4. And then if x is 2, y is 0, that's right here. That's this dot, 2, 0. If x is 3, y is 2, that's this dot, 3, 2. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, there's something else I want to show you here. Let's take this part away. Okay, let's just keep going in order. If x is 4 and if x is 5. If x is 4, what will y be? 2 times 4, take away 4.
So 2 times 2.
No, what's 2
5.
times 4? What's 2 times 4?
6. No, 8.
And then 8 take away 4.
4.
All right, so if x is 4, y will be 4. Do we see that on the graph? Is that true right here? Okay, if x is 5, what is y?
6.
Yep, because 10 take away 4 is 6. And is that on my graph as well? Now my graph got sloppy. I didn't follow exactly where I was supposed to, but it's supposed to be right there. So just imagine my line connects up to that dot. Okay, so now I want to look at the pattern. Look at our table. X is going 2, 3, 4, 5. X is counting 1, 1, 1, 1. And then what is y doing? Where'd you go?
I'm here.
What's y doing on the graph? As x is counting up by 1, then y is counting up by,
2.
yep. And that's our slope. Our slope means as y progresses, it's just like, here's my graph. Let's look at the other graph so I don't make too much of a mess. Y is progressing. It's just taking steps, right? Dun, dun, dun. The next number, the next number, the next number. Do you see on the table how y is doing that? Y is going 2 and then 3 and then 4 and then 5. It's taking steps. So as x is walking forward, taking steps, y is going 2 steps, right? So y goes up 2, and then y goes up 2, and then y goes up 2. So my slope is 2. My slope tells me every time x takes a step, how far did y go up? Does that make sense?
A little, yeah.
A little. We just need to keep going over it and keep explaining it. I don't like those fractions. Let's go to this next one. Y equals 3x take away 3. So it's on my right side here. Now, by looking at that equation, what's the slope and what's the intercept? Do you remember slope is in front of the x, so what's the slope?
4.
It's in front of the x. Right here. Are you looking at the right side?
The fraction one or the, oh, okay. 3.
So the slope is 3. And what's the intercept?
3, -3.
-3. Okay, so what does the intercept mean again?
Will you put your dot?
On the line, right? So on the vertical line, this y line is this vertical line. Where does my dot go? It goes on the -3. Right? So right there. And now if my slope is 3, that means I'm gonna, for every step I move over to the right, I'm gonna go up 3. So can you draw the next dot? Go over 1 step and then up 3. And where will that land you?
Wait, so over 1 and
Up 3.
somewhere around here.
Yeah, you went up 4. So just go up 3 and then put a dot. So take off the actual drawing and then just put the dot. Yeah, good. And then do it again. Go over 1 and then up 3 again. Good. And then connect those and make a line out of them. And so do you see how the line could go on forever, because you could plug in 100, you could plug in 500, 1,000, you could plug in any number, and then negative numbers, an infinite number of options that you could put in for x and then find out what y equals. So the graph represents the solution set. All the possible solutions for this equation, y equals 3x take away 3, because there's not just one solution. It depends on what the other variable is, right? If there's one variable, there'd be one solution. But if there's 2 variables, there's an infinite number of solutions. It just depends on this whole pattern with them. So now let's look at the table and plug some numbers in. X, Y, okay? If X equals 1, what will Y equal? Plug the 1 into the equation and let's do the math.
Zero or 3?
3 take away 3 is 0, right? If X is 1, Y will be 0. Is that true on our graph? Find the point 1, 0. Remember we did this on the homework. How do you find the point 1, 0? Is that point on our graph?
Think, is it this one?
Yep. And then if X is 2, what will Y be?
Um, 3?
Yep, 6 take away 3 is 3. Is that point on our graph? The point is gonna look like 2, 3. Where
Yeah.
is that on the graph? That's your other orange point, right? Okay, what about if x is 0? And then we'll do -1. If x is 0, what's y?
0?
Nope. If x is 0, you'll have 3 times 0, take away 3.
0.
Nope. It's 0, take away 3.
-3.
Good. So 0, -3, that's my blue point. Do you see that on the graph? And then if x is -1, we got to finish up, so we'll do this quick. 3 times -1 is -3. -3 take away 3 is -6.
Yeah.
So then we have -1 for x, and then we go down -6, and the next dot is right there. Does that dot continue on the line? See how we just continue the line and it just keeps on going forever. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, I hope so. I took those other pictures, so we could do more math if you want some more help, but right now I have to switch to my other class. So text me and we can do some more later today or tomorrow. All right?
Later.
Yeah, have your mom text me and we'll find a time. Okay, bye.